So I had to decide today that, well, not even today, yesterday, by the stroke of luck, all my tax money came. So thank you, Jesus. I've been lying to myself for the last 3 years, thinking I could, try to build something with just a dream, and you have to have money. So I'm going back to the drawing board, going back to what I know, jumping back in this insurance world because that is what is best for me. That is how I know how to make money, and that is what I'm going to do is make this money in the insurance world while I push that into these side hustles so that we can make these side hustles our main hustle. So I made a smart decision today, and I'm proud of me for doing what's best for the family so that we can ultimately be successful. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Conquering Chaos with Carissa D. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share if you care. I appreciate you being here today. So I just wanted to come in here really quickly with a little story time. This is my story time about how I lost it all and I'm building it back. What I thought of, the phrase was, I cut off my nose to spite my face. So at the beginning of this video, you should hear a short voice note. I recorded that voice note last year in September 2021. You heard me say I just got my tax refund because I filed my taxes late. And I made the decision to jumpstart my career again. So, and I'm going to rewind and go back. In 2006, I was a new mom, single mom to a 6-month-old baby. My daughter's father was in and out of jail. He was not reliable nor consistent. Well, I won't say he wasn't reliable. When he was free and in the real world, he was someone that I could depend on after multiple phone calls. But it was not stability. So, I was lucky that I did, go to college, had a bachelor's degree. And so after I had my baby and I had stayed home for a couple months, he was working, he was paying my rent. I decided I needed to get back in the working world. I wanted to make my own money. So I went to a job fair. I was lucky enough to find job fairs that were happening on Saturdays. I went to a job fair one day, didn't think much about it, talked to managers, handed out my resume, and probably a month later, I got a call. We want you to come in and be in this training class. So fast forward, that's how I got into the insurance field. I became an insurance adjuster. I became an inside staff adjuster for a very large insurance company in 2006. I stayed at that initial company for about 4 years. That's what you call a standard carrier because it's one of the larger carriers, one of the more established carriers, and one of the carriers that actually basically funded insurance. Insurance came about somewhere around the late 1700s, early 1800s. And the primary reason why we have insurances in this country is because of chattel slavery, okay? White folks in America wanted to make sure that their slaves made it from Africa back to America unharmed. They wanted to get a return on their investment. They were paying people to go and capture folks, bring them back so that they could be their servants for life, treated lower than animals. So there were too many slaves that were dying in transport. They were dying from diseases. They were dying from, getting killed by the people on the ships. And of course they were jumping off the ships because like Killmonger said, the people who jumped knew that death was better than bondage. So these investors, so to speak, had to make sure that their property was going to come back unscathed and that they were going to get a return on their investment. Thus you have the business of insurance. So I digress. Going off on a little tangent there, but that's how I jumped into the field. The first company I worked for sent us to a school. So we got a very good, knowledgeable history of the insurance world. And, of course, they never said the word slave, but as Black people, we know that's the goods that they were transporting back in the 1700s because America didn't have shit back then. So the America's wealth was built off of slavery. So that is why we have the insurance business in America today, okay? So jumping back into my story, I became an insurance adjuster. I did that for 4 years at one company. Then I decided to start moving around and working at different carriers. I went from one company for 4 years, then went to another company for 3 years. And then I ended up relocating to another state. So and all this time, I'm a single mom. Me and my daughter's father are not together, very adversarial. He's still in and out of jail, in and out. So, you know, I just had to move basically where the money was, because I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm trying to take care of a child, and I want to be able to give her the best life that I can afford. So in 2012, I lost my father. My father died from lung cancer. And, at that time, my family wasn't, I won't say we were super close. My parents were divorced. My sister was in Maryland. I was in Texas. My mom was in Virginia. We were all spread out. So, once he died, I kind of, was trying to build a better relationship with my sibling and my mom. So I moved to Georgia. I always say I let them talk me into moving to Georgia, but really it was my decision to move. I decided that I was tired of being in Texas. I had been in Dallas for about almost 10 years, 9 years and 8 months. So I was like, I'm not going to make a whole decade here. I'm going to move. So I decided to leave. I packed up, found a job, took a $10,000 pay cut, and moved to Georgia and relocated so that I could be closer to my family. I think that's one of the dumbest decisions I've ever made financially. Financially, that was a piss poor decision for me to make, because I would have been a lot further along in my career had I stayed where I was. But you live and you learn. Sometimes you make decisions, not all money is good money, but at the same time, sometimes you have to make decisions based on what's best for your life at that time. And the way life happens, sometimes you need to make decisions for your family. So that's what I did. I moved. And Georgia was just a different ball game. I actually changed fields. I left insurance completely and used my insurance skills in the legal field. That didn't really work out. I saw that there's really no growth for a paralegal. If you're going to be a paralegal, your next step is to go to law school and be an attorney. That's it. Either you're going to be a paralegal and retire from being a paralegal, or you're going to go and be an attorney. For me, which is really sad. This is a very sad story. I busted my ass, took the LSAT back in, 2009, 2010, went to all these Saturday classes, took the test, and then, looked at schools I wanted to apply to and was just reading all the averages. And basically all the schools told me my scores were too low to get in. So what did I do like a dummy? I never applied to law school, and I let my scores expire, and I'm still in insurance. So a dream deferred. Again, cut off my nose to spite my face, okay? Just not thinking. So let's see. I got here. I worked in the legal field for a little bit. That wasn't my calling. Ended up jumping right back into insurance. But this new gig was something different, because it was not an inside staff adjuster like I had been before, but this was as an outside. Well, it was actually as an independent adjuster. So I was still working inside, but I was not, I was working for one company, but we were working as independents, meaning we were not employees of that company. So we were 1099 contract employees working for an insurance company, making way more money than their employees, okay? And this company is very, very big, okay? One of those big companies that you see on commercials all the time. So trust me, you would know them if you saw them. I can't give too many more clues, but it's one of the biggest ones that's out there. So I had never in my life up until that point met so many people that look like me, that were doing the same thing and had been doing it for years. And these Black people were making 6 figures easy in less than 12 months, okay? Because they knew how to play the game. See, when I got into it and I became a staff adjuster for a large insurance company, they tell you, you don't want to be a public adjuster. You don't want to be an independent adjuster. They kind of poison you in a way towards the other field, the other aspects you can make money in your field. Because believe it or not, you don't have to work for an insurance company. You can work for yourself as an adjuster and make way more money. But insurance companies don't want to go that route because it takes money from them. So, the whole premise of insurance is to keep your money, to keep their money, and yours. You're paying every month your premium, in the event, you know, that you might have an accident. Some people never have an accident. They've been paying insurance premiums for 20, 30 years, and you don't get a return on that. Not for an auto or a homeowner's policy. You get no money back for that. So, you know, again, insurance. It's a tricky game, but there's a lot of money to be made there. So, that independent job really got my blood boiling. I was like, this is something that I can really do. Like, this is a really good career path. More people need to get on it. So, you know, I did that assignment for however long it lasted, because we were basically temporary employees. We worked until our firms were no longer needed and the project was over. So once that project was over, I left, went to another inside firm. But I always had that in the back of my mind that I wanted to be independent. So fast forward a couple years, the company I was working for that I really loved ended up closing their doors. Everybody at the company got laid off. This was happening a lot. I worked in an area where they were saturated with a lot of insurance companies, and there were a lot of people that, you know, in certain companies came to work one day and they were like, okay, guys, pack up your stuff, it's time to go. Employees had no forewarning. They were just all let off and laid off, let go. Companies insolvent. That happens. So the company I was working for, they did a mass layoff. Everybody left. And I had the bright idea, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start my own business. I had no business plan. I had no business. I had nothing but a thought and a dream and no way to execute it. And no money, by the way. But I was determined to not do what I had been doing, because I can tell you, after a while, you know, many, many years in corporate America, being a Black woman, you get beat down, especially when you don't shuck and jive. You don't play the game. You don't get down to lay down. You don't Sambo. You don't skin and grin at people's faces because you feel like it's going to get you ahead. I'm a person that is just authentically me. I keep it real. You respect me, I respect you. You smile at me, I'll smile back. I can be professional and warm and courteous, but I don't appreciate disrespect. So in the customer service field, because essentially that's the service that we're providing. We're providing customer service, and in the process, making decisions for policyholders. But, you know, in that process, and, you know, being in corporate America, being a Black woman, it gets stressful. You know, there are a lot of times where, you know, myself and other Black women that I work with have found themselves to be the quote unquote work horses, where we are the horse, we are the cart, and we are the wheels. We are keeping the operation going. And it's not uncommon for Black women to be overworked and underpaid. They say it a lot, but it's very true in many industries. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's this industry in particular, or if it's every industry. Maybe it is society in general that thinks that Black women can handle more. You know, looking at the confirmation hearings of Ketanji Brown, you know, having to keep your composure at all times when people talk to you like you're an incompetent fool. It's very difficult. People who don't have a fraction of your education nor intelligence will talk down on you and talk down to you because they feel that they are in a position of authority. So dealing with that on a daily basis, over months, over years, it can wear you down. And I remember when I worked inside at one particular job, I had one coworker, and I would just say sometimes, you know, taking a break in between calls. This is depleting my soul. This is not what God put me here for. I have to have a greater purpose in life. So really, since I entered the field, you know, I have been grateful. I'm thankful for, you know, where I have been able to get. You know, my education and my intelligence, I'm sure, helped me along the way. But I also learned that you really don't need a whole lot of education to do this job. All you need is the right steps. You just need somebody to point you in the right direction and tell you what steps A, B, C, and D to do, and you can walk into a career field just like this. You know, most jobs in the United States, I would say, depending on the region, you know, Southeast are going to start you maybe around mid 40s, you know, anywhere from like mid 40s to like 60 G's a year, which is not bad, you know, depending on what you're doing. Now, you know, there are some positions in insurance, you know, where you're doing underwriting and actuarial work. Those people make way more money because they are actually the ones determining the risk as to whether or not you're going to get a policy. So if, you know, you're thinking of a career move, you're thinking of a change, you're thinking of, you know, I'm working this dead-end job and it's not going anywhere, you know, career changes are hard, but at the same time, there are some very rewarding ones out there, and insurance is one of them. And I can tell you, you don't have to have a college degree to become an insurance agent. You don't have to have a college degree to become an insurance adjuster, okay? Those are two very easy, well, I won't say easy, but they are very obtainable careers. They are very attainable licenses that you can get. All you have to do is go to your state Department of Insurance and look up licensing, and it will explain everything that you need to do. It's not for everybody. You know, there are facets of the industry where you are just working on the telephone. There are facets of the industry where you're just outside looking at property. There are, you know, many layers to it, but there are many ways to make money. I also worked as an insurance agent, selling policies. That is the most lucrative business in insurance. When you sell insurance policies, you are actually creating generational wealth for yourself and your family, okay? I know people don't, a lot of Black people, you know, you shy away from sales. People are calling you, trying to sell you an insurance policy. Buy it. That is the one thing that you can do to protect yourself, your family, your children. In the event that something happens to you, that insurance policy is going to take care of your family, okay? You won't have to worry about them setting up a GoFundMe to bury your ass because you have life insurance. There are many different kinds of life insurance, and a lot of them build wealth. Some of them you can borrow against if you come up to a time where you need some extra money in your life. Look into it. Also, if you're looking for a career change, look into becoming an agent. Look into your state and see what it takes to become an insurance agent. That is one of the single best ways for Black people in today's society. If you're not great at selling products online, if you're, you know, not good at, you know, going into an office every day, that is an entrepreneurial job that you can do from your house, at least starting from home, and learn how to make money. So, you know, I'm sorry I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but, you know, I just want to talk about the good and the bad. You know, being in corporate America as a Black woman is not easy. You're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit an obstacle. And sometimes you have to do some soul searching. And for me, you know, I had to leave the field for 3 years and really hit rock bottom to see that, you know, number one, if I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I need to have a plan. I needed to have a clear business plan, at least a goal of where I wanted to be, so that I just wasn't out here aimlessly wandering. And you definitely need money. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be making money to put money into your business. Businesses do not run off of air. They don't run off of nothing. You can sell pre-orders and dreams all day, but eventually you're going to have a product, and those products cost money. And in order to find the correct products, you're going to have to spend money. So I wish everyone the best, okay? I want nothing more than to see my people succeed, okay? Because there is money out here. There's enough for all of us, okay? And we can all jump in here and get a piece of the pie. I just wanted to tell you a little bit of my story about how I had a career, and basically once my company closed down, I kind of, you know, said, F this. I don't want to do this anymore. You know, it's been over a decade. I'm tired. I'm tired of dealing with these people. I'm tired of being the workhorse. I'm tired of being, you know, overworked, underappreciated, underpaid, and I want something different. So, you know, during that 3-year period when I wasn't in that field, I learned to be very appreciative of the things that I used to have. I learned to be more appreciative of the career path that I had chosen. You know, I still stayed adjacent to what I had been doing. I was still working in customer service, but the money was not the same. And my life reflected that. I, was depressed for years, very unhappy, very sad because I was not able to live the life that I had been living. So, married or not, personally, I wasn't where I wanted to be. So I knew I had to make that change. So I decided that, after being away from the field, even letting my license go, I had to go get that back. So I jumped back on, did what I had to do, paid the money I needed to pay to take my test, and I'm back. It's not easy. It's not for everybody, but it is something that is very attainable. It's something that anyone can do. And, I encourage, anybody, if you're looking, for a career change, or you're looking to make more money, or you're just looking for a side hustle, go to your state website, Department of Insurance, and just look into what it takes to become an agent, what it takes to become, an adjuster. It's spring right now, summertime is coming, and I can tell you guys one thing. In the summertime, once these hurricanes and tornadoes start hitting, these jobs start calling. People make a lot of money in the summertime. That's all I'm saying. I met a lot of Black people. They got Maybachs. They got very expensive cars, very nice houses, and their money is real. It's not TV money. It's not rap money. It's actual taxable income, okay? It's work for pay. That's really all I can tell you. I hope I didn't tell you too much, but I hope I did give you just enough to just spark your interest a little bit. I want to help inspire people to just get out there and go after your dreams, reach your goals, and don't let anyone or anything or any obstacle stop you, okay? You are invincible. You have the power within you, okay? So thank you for being here. Please like, please share, please subscribe to Conquering Chaos with Carissa D. I hope to see you soon. Me and hubby, Baldy Locks, will be back soon for another video. Have a great one. Bye.